Hello viewers, welcome to another inspiring episode of Mumtaz Herbal product presents Voice of Excellence, where we delve into the stories, insights and journeys of remarkable individuals shaping our world today. Today we will be interviewing a distinguished academic and thought leader, Professor A.K.M. Mazharul Islam, Department of Anthropology of Shahjalal University of Science and Technology. And this is Sadid Adnan Wahid, your host for today's show, and let's start the interview with our honorable guest. So let's go. Viewers, we will be starting our interview session now, and I am sitting with our honorable guest for today's show, Professor A.K.M. Mazharul Islam, Department of Anthropology, Shahjalal University of Science and Technology. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
You have had a very long and distinguished academic career. So what initially drew you to the field of anthropology, and how has your passion evolved over time?
Anthropology is a science of Homo sapien. I mean, it's a complete, we call it science of Homo sapien for all time and all space. So I was little convinced with myself that, since it's deal with Homo sapien and Homo sapien is not going to perish very soon, so I'll get something to do.
So initially, when you were just a child, when you started your educational career, have you ever envisioned that you will end up in here?
As everybody of our generation was very freewheeling, I mean, games and sports and all that kind of thing, living with the nature and etc. etc. But when I got to get myself into Dhaka University, that changed my whole kind of a perspective, and particularly when I was into anthropology, it's kind of a new, you can call it a new birth. I mean, I see the world in a very different way. So my ambition and my thought process has totally changed, and that end up with teaching.
So sir, your work practices both theoretical academia and development practices of anthropology. So how do you bridge the gap between academic world and real life practice of anthropology in development sectors?
That's very important. We actually, I have been teaching anthropology for the last 29 years in the classroom. But I always felt, like many of the anthropologists, that it's important to, have the application of the theories, methods, and the concept that you, develop over the years is what is the reflection of it. If you can do something for the humanity or for the betterment of the people, that is the actual spirit of doing or practicing anthropology. So we, in 1997, with our teacher, some of our friends, we developed a institute called Institute of Applied Anthropology. So we actually, the aim of establishing that institute was to do something real applied. So we call it action anthropology or applied anthropology. Some people call it practicing anthropology. So we try to have some application of the anthropological knowledge so that we can bring some changes in the society. We have done so many things to change the society, but with our little efforts that we initiated from the institute and from the department, that actually, did some contribution in applied anthropology in Bangladesh.
You are one of the pioneers in Bangladesh in this subject, since you and your batchmates were the first ones who opened up an institution that practices practical applied anthropology. So I reckon it was not a very easy task to excel in such a field that was not very heard of in our country. So what were the challenges that you faced initially?
We were students, and then we also involved in academia as faculty. Many misunderstanding, which unfortunately still persist. For example, anthropology was always being termed with archaeology. People thought that it's the same thing. People thought that it's something to deal with soil. So there are a lot of misunderstanding went on, and still today it persists. But by now people at least know that it is a social science, or it is a science that deal with Homo sapiens. So it's it's little known now. But in our days, when we started anthropology as a student and then as a faculty, it was more kind of a misunderstanding about anthropology.
Sir, you have recently achieved the Pelto International Award by the Society of Applied Anthropology USA, and you are the first Bangladeshi to receive this award. So, what do you think has been your most significant contribution to the field of anthropology?
Thank you. It's like I don't think I have a very significant contribution in anthropology. I'm just doing little which has brought some attention to the Society for Applied Anthropology in USA, because particularly in pandemic, how social science can help people to overcome or to deal with this COVID-19 situation. We actually conducted as of now 26 seminars and symposium that we have a local office of Institute of Applied Anthropology in Gazipur. So we took all the people to that place. So these kind of little thing, and we had a adult education program, we had a health program, and we trained different NGOs with and development organizations with anthropological methods and etc. etc. So these kinds of little things that probably get some notice about that organization called Society for Applied Anthropology. So they decided that they should give an award for that. So that's pretty much of it.
So, sir, speaking of diversity, you have been involved in collaborative research in multiple international organizations and institutions across the globe. So, what are some of the most interesting insights and challenges that you have faced working across such diverse contexts?
I'm not that big a person. I mean, I just did little researches in different parts of Bangladesh and some other parts of Asia and Europe, where I had some opportunity to do. One of the researches that I have done, I can mention social autopsy, and that was been replicated in different parts of the world, probably 18 countries around the world. So what is that research, social autopsy? I can just still briefly on that. I mean, when there is a death, there is a biological autopsy, that is done by a government officer or someone who certified that someone is dead and what is the cause of death. So that's the biological cause of death. So there are, particularly when there is a maternal and child mortality, I mean, particularly the child mortality, where the children die for many reasons. I mean, and there are the household dynamics, the decision makings, the education level, the transportation facilities. I mean, all kinds of causes are related with the death of a mother or a child.
Indeed.
In a newborn. So what are those social causes that make that particular mother or the child die? So that's social autopsy. I mean, so that's kind of so we actually formulated several questionnaire. I mean, sets of questions where we need to ensure that will not affect the human subject. I mean, the mother or child or any other respondent who have been asked about those questions. So that was a little tricky part of it, because these were very sensitive things to be asked to a mother whose child is dead, or some other, or father whose child is dead. So it's like was very sensitive. So we need to submit and resubmit with the international protocol. I mean, with the IRB, we call Institutional Review Board for Johns Hopkins Universities. So that was a little challenging, but we finally did that protocol. I mean so we replicated in Bangladesh. We did it in Sylhet, in Kanaiঘাট, in Jokigঞ্জ Upazila there, and it was done, I mean, scientific manner, and the outcome was really good.
Sir, you have worked as a researcher in multiple international and educational institutions, both government and non-government. So could you please share your experience regarding this?
I had a research background because, before joining in the university, I worked in a research and evaluation division. They call it RED in BRAC. That helped me to do multiple research in different capacities. One of the research I can mention what I have done last month, and one I can refer to the first where I started my career. The first project was, the name of the first project was Social Science and Immunization. It was a multi-country project done by BRAC and ICDDRB. Outcome of that research was a book named Counting the Hills, and that was published by UPL probably in 1998 or something. And then I did different consultancy research and different research, that different studies that also commissioned by different organizations. Nowadays, we have a SUST research center. They provide annual research grants to the faculty, and I did a couple of research from there as well. And also I did some research on like epistemological problems and how medical anthropology can help understanding the whole health issues, and also accessing healthcare in this country, in Bangladesh. So pretty much this kind of research I have been doing with the funding of some of the donors that you have mentioned.
Sir, you must have a very busy life because you are employed full-time in SUST and you are also involved with some other private universities in Bangladesh. Plus, you do research work for multiple numerous distinguished international and national research organizations. So, among all this, how do you find time for yourself? How do you maintain work-life balance?
Well, thank you. I mean, I have complaints from my wife and kids all the time that I do not give much time to the family, but I enjoy my work, and I always think that when I am kind of not that proactive, I'm done. It's the end of me. I mean, so I enjoy doing what I do. So that's probably I don't have any secret. I just love my work. That's it.
Sir, we have had a very insightful interview or talk show session, and now we are almost at the end of it. So now for our viewers and for young scholars who are aspiring to become anthropologists, what advice would you give them who wants to make impact in anthropology through their work?
People from science background is also find it comfortable, but because we have those physical anthropology stuffs and etc., so they will find it comfortable. And the people from social science and arts background, they will also find it comfortable because we have got a lot of theoretical and conceptual things that should not be a problem for that background. I would say that we need to be open and we need to be flexible about studying things. I mean, nowadays we have a tendency in the school and colleges, I mean in the intermediate colleges, that we only go by the syllabus. I mean, that's the mere syllabus that we actually, people doesn't have. I mean, this generation and particularly as we find our students nowadays, that they have got a very less diversified knowledge. I mean, particularly up to undergrad. I mean, up to undergrad, you need to be very broad based. I mean, and then in the master's level, in the advanced level, you can be very specific. I think it is no less, charming and no less. There is a belief that if you take this kind of discipline, there is no job, there is no income, and anthropology is good, but you don't find any job. I mean, that's probably not true. So if you can conceptualize the ideas of anthropology, and if you can prove yourself, and there are a lot of jobs in the market as well.
So there was a very good piece of advice, and I'm sure it will be very useful to our viewers. So sir, what's your plan for the next 10 years or the upcoming years in your life?
I mean, for 20 years or 50 years, I plan for 3 or 4 years, which is
more practical.
You can call it a shortcoming. I call it a practical. Well, the institute that we have developed, we have a lot to do about it. I mean, we need to grow it in a more multidisciplinary way. One of my ambitions from the childhood was I'd be a writer, but I want to write some of the book for my discipline, and also some of the creative writing that I envision for a long period of time. I need to finish it by next 5-6 years.
Sir, all the best for your future endeavors. Thanks again for giving us your precious time.
Thank you.
But before we leave, my pleasure, we have a small gift for you from our sponsor, which is Mumtaz Herbal Products.
Thank you. I mean, I'm glad that Mumtaz Herbal Products has given me this souvenir. I mean, I'm glad to have it.